Chad, you guys ready for my favorite part of the week? Y'all ready for the best time of the week where we answer your guys' questions? Because it's time. It's time for our Q&A video. We do these every Sunday, which is always my favorite. And we're going to be doing a Q&A video. And you guys who have been here before know how this goes. We're going to take a look at our video from last week. We're going to go to the top comments. We're going to answer some of the questions from them. We're going to answer some of the questions from you people in chat. And for everybody who's watching this on YouTube, easy way to skip the line if you guys don't want to wait for me to answer it there. We stream every day but Tuesday and Sunday. Come hang out with us in chat. I will answer pretty much anything. That's pretty much what my streams are, is a live Q&A. People in chat can probably attest to that. So we got some questions on the dock. We're gonna go and answer some of those and get through these to the best of my ability. We got 10-15 minutes on the clock, and we'll see what we get. So first question is gonna come from Kevin. So thoughts on the potential Retals roster change for SSG and the offseason generally? Like, will there be tournaments, show matches, etc.? So by the time you guys watch this video, I will have a video out in regards to the Retals SSG thing. I'm putting that out, I think, on Friday. So if you guys haven't seen that, go check that out a couple days ago. So that's the big thing. Where he ends up, all that kind of stuff. I think we're all just kind of waiting to see what the heck happens this offseason. There's going to be a lot of roster rumors and changes for the top tier. And all that shuffling will cause some things to happen. So I think there's a lot of opportunity for a lot of different players. As for the off season, I think the off season is a unique one, just because we don't know when the next season is going to start. Candidly, I've not seen anything or haven't seen anything hinted. I don't know. Usually they take like 2-3 months of an off season. This was another really long season. I'm sure the guys want some time to themselves, and maybe during the off season, some people step up. I saw Spaceman is trying to run one for the amateur scene. I know there's some other plans along the side, but the difficulty is all the pros just spent 10 to 11 months grinding and probably want some time to just take time off and relax. They're also going to be wanting to test rosters in a competitive environment. So I would expect to see a couple show matches, tournaments from the community pop up, maybe some things for the people to play in. But the only one I know of as of right now is Gold Rush. Gold Rush for sure, which is more of a chill hangout kind of personality driven event. But there is going to be hopefully a couple here and there, but I, for one, am kind of happy to have some downtime because it's been a crazy year. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Maybe, and hear me out, maybe this is a time for teams and like content creators to like make some cool content that's not just Rocket League related. For my channel in particular, this is where it's the hardest because this downtime means crap. There's nothing in the esports scene to cover other than roster stuff and trying to make ends meet that way. So this is where my like creative juices need to be at an all-time high. And I've got a cool documentary coming out soon. So stay tuned for that. C-Money says, love the vids. Do you think the lackluster spring split and the mediocre Worlds performance will lead to a roster change for energy? Yeah. You know, I should have just assumed this was putting energy on blast. If so, who would they trade and who would they look to get? So the difficulty about answering these questions is I don't have the insight of the inner workings of NRG. I do have a press conference video coming out with NRG that will detail kind of like the vibe that they provide behind closed doors, which is all good spirits. So a lot of those guys are still, it seems like, having a good time. But NRG in particular, if you look at them objectively, have obviously not had the greatest results. I will still say top 8 in the world is pretty dang good. They're tied 5-8 for top in the world, but they did get pretty heavily smacked by G2 in that series. So looking at it, is it something to consider or not? Do they want to try to continue to build upon what they have? Because arguably the team is still very, very talented. A lot of the things of pointing at them like trolling in scrims and not taking things seriously, all those types of things I think you take into account. And I do think there is potential that energy makes a change. Who, what, where, I don't know. It depends on availability, depends on what agent or free agent they can bring in. To my knowledge, they already tried out and missed at one point in that AAA Challenger Series thing. I don't know if that was an official tryout or not, even though the online conversation was, hey, Squishy's busy with this thing, so we're not playing with him. But again, I think there's just so much unknown still happening that it's really difficult. But who would they look to get and who would they look to trade? I don't even know who's available. And I don't even know if it's something they're considering. So I'm going to be pretty timid in my answer on this one because I just candidly do not know. The only people that do, Squishy, Garrett, Justin, and Sis. Those are the only ones that opinion-wise I would listen to on that one. Where do I see the meta playstyle moving to in Rocket League if you think it will change at all? We are already seeing this, and I think it's currently the meta, but as of right now, I think it's just getting to the point where teams are not caring as much. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Version 1 is the one I have the most experience with, so I can tell you about them. If you look at the V1 that played against Space Station versus the V1 that played against BDS, that is a V1 against BDS that came in expecting BDS to play a certain way. They game planned really hard. They did a ton of replay analysis. They dissected the team. They're like, all right, this is what we expect. This is how we're going to play against them. And then BDS didn't play like that and dismantled them. V1 then says, okay, we're going to focus on us. We're going to be the ones aggressing. We're the ones that are going to ego challenge. We're the ones that are going to deny boost. We're the ones that are going to do all these things. And if we get met with some adversity, then we'll make an adjustment. And you look at the difference. You look at how successful Moist has been, even when they were Queso. You look at all these top teams that are basically saying, like Team Liquid, Hex strategy. We're going to out-mechanic you. We're going to be aggressive. We're going to be confident. And we don't care about the consequence because we're so good and our recovery is so good that we're just going to overwhelm you. And when you don't have any space or any boost to do anything, it tends to be the perfect way to go about playing the game. So I, for one, think that you're going to continue to see aggressive play style, super heavy mechanic focused, boost deny, constant pressure, pair that with demos. And every once in a while, you got to rotate back a little bit further. But for the most part, I expect overwhelming aggression is going to be the play. And teams that just have a short-term memory. Hey, I went up for this mechanic. It didn't work out. Don't care. Still going. And that kind of short-term memory and that lack of consequence in the back of your mind, built with like good vibes and good chemistry, is going to lead to some pretty exciting things. It also makes Rocket League way more entertaining too. So when you got two teams going full send at the game, I mean, you get a Furia Moist or a Space Station V1 match. And like, how can you be upset about that? So good stuff all around. But I see that being the way it's going. Bearlight says, awesome chat with you in person. Hope the post-land withdrawal isn't hitting too hard. Nah, we doing all right. We doing all right. Show release videos covering official roster changes once roster maintenance sets in, but I would love to get your inside prediction on what we might see. What is one team per region you think will shift and would surprise the majority are all esports fans? I candidly believe that there is no team that is safe outside of BDS and maybe G2. Maybe Moist as well and like Liquid. Liquid, I think, won't do any changing just because they are still new and haven't really had their chance to make a full run through RLCS. But candidly, I think all the top rosters, no matter who it is across the board, a team that we thought was boys and like hanging out, and all of a sudden you find out Arsenal wants to kick Retals or whatever. Like, I don't think anybody is safe. I think these teams are starting to realize that while we have friendships and there's rapport with us, there is the thought process of, for the next 10, 11 months, we are going to grind and try to make a world championship. And that is not easy. Who is going to give us the best chance? Who's going to be the most competitive? Who's going to be like, there's so many different factors when the ultimate goal at the end of the day, like Cuddling has said, is to win and to have results. So I don't know if there's any one particular team that is safe. And a lot of that is determined on multiple factors. Who's available? How do tryouts go? Is the chemistry there? Is the buyout possible? What's the contract length? All these different factors that are outside the general realm of just, yeah, this player is really good. So I don't know if anybody in particular is really safe, but I mean, you can look at any of those top tier teams. Dignitas, Space Station, NRG, like all these top dogs, susceptible to change without a doubt. Maybe K Corp stays the same because of their results, but honestly, I think we just gotta wait and see. It's gonna be nuts. One thing I'll say as a fan, but also someone with a heavy interest in the casting aspect of Rocket League, it seems very difficult for someone new who would want to be a caster to even begin to find ways to get involved. As an expert, do you have any suggestions on getting into the scene? As a caster or otherwise, I say this and everybody ignores the second half. They just hear the first part, which is the whole point of why I say it. So make sure you hear this entire statement. If you are trying to be a commentator, you will never make it. If that is enough to deter you, you clearly do not have the willpower, the drive, the ambition to actually do it. There's going to be a lot of adversity. There's going to be a lot of people outworking you. There's going to be a lot of people all trying to get the same position. Think about it in a broad spectrum of things. You are a young kid trying to become a professional football player. Think about the hundreds of thousands of millions of people throughout the United States also all trying to make one spot on a 53-person roster with a specific position, a specific skill set, etc. Now take that on a global scale. That is Rocket League. You have hundreds of thousands of million kids. The player base for Rocket League is 90 million. And all of those people maybe feel, we'll take a lot less than that. But you're talking A ton of people are all trying to be the best in the world and are all trying to do that. And that's for the professional teams. Now you're taking an even smaller niche as a commentator. You need to outwork people. You need to out-prepare people. You need to put in more time, more effort, more everything to give yourself a chance. And there's still the reality that you may just not have the skill set to do it. Maybe you just aren't a natural. You're then also talking on the other side of things that maybe Psyonix just has their guys. Psyonix has 20 casters plus on payroll. Maybe they're pretty dang happy with who they got. Maybe that's not the end. Like maybe RLCS just isn't in your sights. But there's still plenty of secondary streams and all that kind of stuff that also can make you like, what is your goal? What I'm trying to get at is the first thing you need to do is identify what you're trying to accomplish. Are you trying to become an RLCS caster? Are you trying to just work in esports? What is it that you're trying to do? Once you identify that, you then need to have short-term goals as well as long-term goals and try to accomplish those as you gain experience in whatever it is. But the best advice, be genuine, be humble, work hard, and just put yourself out there. Go after it. Hey, there's no secondary tournaments or there's no community tournaments that want me to cast. Okay, so what's stopping you from finding some footage online, whether it be your own or otherwise, or your own stream, and casting those? You need to get the reps and experience. There is no cheat sheet to being successful in this region. You have to put in the time and the work. You have to. And there's always going to be somebody else trying to do that stuff. Again, the hard reality, and I tell this when I do motivational speaking to some kids at schools and stuff, when I go and talk about schools in the district and stuff, the tough reality is you may just simply not be good enough. I'm not here to sugarcoat it. I'm not here to bullshit you. You candidly might just not be good enough. But that doesn't mean you can't have a passion and a love for it and do it for your own free time as a hobby. And eventually that may lead to something if you get enough experience. It is a cutthroat business, and there is always someone else trying to get that position as well. That's just the way it goes sometimes. Life isn't always fair. Deal with it. And that's all. That's a hard reality, and it's blunt. Some people don't like that answer, but it is the reality of life. Some people are just better than you at stuff. It happens. But that doesn't mean you should give up. I hope that's a good enough answer for you. Maybe a bit too blunt, but I'm not here to sugarcoat and treat you like a kid. So hopefully that answer helps you, Looper. Whether it motivates you, inspires you, or whatever it may be, but hopefully it allows you to take the next steps, whatever those steps may be for whatever you're trying to accomplish. All right, next question comes from Game Rocker. The format was good, but to me the grand final felt a bit short, sort of anticlimactic for something everyone waited 1 year for. Do you think the grand final should have been a separate day with a best of three? No, definitely not. Best of sets suck. I think it's terrible. The feeling of anticlimactic came because BDS smacked G2. I don't think it had anything to do with the format. The only issue I have is that it felt like they tried to put too much into one. If they would have done quarterfinals, semifinals, grand finals as 2 separate days, so you have 4 quarterfinals, that's a 4-hour day, good. 2 semifinals, grand finals, you prop up with a ceremony, you add some more fluff and some cool moments to it. I think that you could have felt better about it. I just think that because they put all of Championship Sunday, all that last playoff bracket in one day, it felt kind of diminished. And then the grand finals didn't really live up to what everybody has come to assume with RLCS, where it's like, bro, we've got Justin Goal, we've got the greatest overtime going into Garrett G winning a world championship. Like, I think people built it up to a pretty high level, and then BDS comes out and is like, later, I'm glad you guys got a game, but we're the best. And then people also being burnt out after 11 hours wanting to leave. Yeah, it feels kind of diminished. So I personally don't like best of sets. I think they diminish the whole purpose of what a world championship finality of like this is a big moment and everything matters right now. And you can do that without double elimination. Case in point, Prudential Center Season 7 Grand Finals. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. I just think because it was all done on the same day, it felt kind of lackluster. So personally, I think the biggest flaw was that they put all 7 matches on one day. Personally, I think that was the biggest issue. Last but not least comes from Hermes in chat. And he says, what makes someone an in-game leader in Rocket League, also known as an IGL? I keep seeing people saying the COM and Retals or the IGLs of the respective team, but what does an IGL do for Rocket League teams? I think arguably one of the best IGLs in Rocket League is Garrett G. There is, Chicago's also very, very good too. But your in-game leader is someone whose call is absolute. What that person says, we all, same track of mind, That is what we are going with. In-game leaders are more prevalent, I would say, in the BR genre because there's so many different factors. And whether the team fight is good or bad, at least you're all doing the right thing together or the bad thing together, which gives you a better chance. Because as long as you have a split decision, you're automatically probably going to lose the fight. Rocket League is more of a reactionary game, and it's more so having someone who kind of has that trust and that respect and is also kind of the captain role. A lot of people give credit to Retals on that because there was a moment where they conceded a kickoff goal, and immediately there was a moment after that where he apologized, looked to his teammates, got them back into the series, put their focus back into recovering, and like even keeled all the nerves that were going on. To me, people associate IGL in Rocket League with captain, and it's more so the vocal leader or the person that is there to settle the nerves and keep people like focused up when it matters most. And I think that stuff's really important. And I don't know if IGLs are necessarily a thing. It's not like your IGL is telling everybody what to do, but I will say people like Garrett, Chicago and stuff, they're being vocal on the team. In same thing with Calm is more so there as a motivation thing, is to make sure people are talking. It's making sure that people are communicating actively about their decisions, what they're doing, what they're not. There's some players as well that are very good about presenting it in a way naturally that is saying like, I know what you're intending to do, and these are your options that are available, or just kind of being eyes of the team to provide insight about what they have. Letting someone know that there's someone approaching trying to go for a demo, letting you know that I'm open to the right or that you can play for time, things like that. If you're in the corner and we're out of the play, rather than you just smacking a mid and letting them counterattack on us when we're trying to rotate back, I can be like, hey, you've got time, take time. You're going to sit behind it, you're going to force a 50, you're just trying to kill it in that corner so we can get boost and come back into the play, and now we can continue to sustain offense, things like that. So again, it varies a lot, and I don't know if there's something in particular that just determines who those people are, but I think it is something that happens more so naturally when you're with a team for a long period of time. And the best teams, everybody has an equal amount of input. Everybody is not afraid to speak up and say it like it is and be critical, because nobody feels like they're personally being attacked. They all feel like, hey, we're just trying to be as good as we possibly can. It's why I candidly love watching V1. No one on that team has an ego. They're all just trying to get better. No one takes criticism personally. They all know it comes from a good place, and they're just trying to be better. So V1 comms are very interesting to listen to. Also when they sing. Don't know if I agree with the singing portion, but still very funny. But that's going to wrap it up for today's Q&A video. If I didn't get to your question, or if you guys have additional ones, as always, we try to do this for every Sunday video. Let me know in the comments down below, or stop by the stream, twitch.tv/Lawler. Stream every day but Tuesday and Sunday. Come hang out with us. We usually stream at like 2-3 in the afternoon for like 3-4 hours, and always a pleasure. If I'm not doing a Q&A specifically, that's pretty much what my stream is. You can ask chat. My stream is like a live Q&A thing. So that is going to do it for today's video. As always, if you enjoy the content, like, subscribe, comment. You guys know how it goes, as it helps out greatly, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.